What's going on, everybody? Is your boy Jimmy James 59. And I know it's been a while, but we got this new patch, this new DLC. I've been keeping it kind of on the low because I don't really like to jump to all these conclusions before patches come out, things like that. I kind of keep my distance just because things change, and I don't really like getting people hyped up if I don't need to. But a patch just dropped today for Age of Empires, and well, I want to talk about some things. So let's go ahead, right? I want to jump in here. I want to jump into this bad mamma jamma and show you some things. Let's start off here. First of all, I want to tell you about some changes that were in the patch notes that aren't the new CIVS, and then what I want to do is talk about a couple of new CIVs, and I'm only going to talk about a couple of them. I'll tell you why, but there's a few really impactful changes that I think we see coming. First of all, it's true we see with Burgundians, Flemish militia being available in the feudal age. I think it's actually going to be pretty interesting. The Flemish militia, I think, are really going to give you a high quality spear skirmisher rush. You know, that's kind of a popular strategy nowadays on Arabia, and it's going to be pretty interesting here with Burgundians. The one thing I'd say you got to remember about this is that Flemish militia have the spearman armor class, so they're going to take a bit of damage from skirmishers, and they basically get better as you age up. So it's not like an overpowered feudal unit. It's kind of a mix of stats between a men at arms and a spearman. So I don't know. I have a feeling it'll be kind of balanced, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Also worth noting, infantry cheaper now. Men at arms move faster. I mean, those patch notes are pretty long, so swordsman line definitely getting a buff. Now, another change I want to talk about here with the Chinese has been a lot talked about. You notice no camels at all for the Chinese. I think a lot of people are sleeping on this change. I always thought one of the Chinese civilization assets was that you had such flexibility, and you're losing some of that. Now, you are getting fire lancers. We'll learn more about these, I think, as time goes on. I haven't really play tested any of this, but it looks like it's a unit that does some range damage and then can kind of get in there, sort of boot, scoot, and boogie with some damage in there. Once again, it kind of feels like a cross between a long swordsman and a pikeman, and I think it has a little bit of anti-cavalry damage too, so it'll be pretty interesting. But Chinese have definitely lost some of their versatility, which honestly I don't think is the worst change in the world. Now, I think that one of the biggest changes to me, and people I think are sleeping on this like crazy, Italians getting basically Pavise as a tech in feudal age for free. This gives Italians such a strong feudal age archer rush. You can get 2/2 armor, and once you get fletching in your armor upgrade. And remember, this is a civ, as you can see, with advancing to the next age, that gets a food bonus in Dark Age. So that's something that's going to be really good for this civ. I already played a game with Italians, used this bonus. It was very strong. I will be happy if it was just like +1 melee armor in feudal age, because that does so much to take scout damage down. This is a really strong unit. I have a feeling actually that maybe when the DLC drops in like a month, maybe this gets changed and they stagger this bonus where you get the melee armor in feudal age. Maybe you get castle age, the pierce armor. It's very strong. Italians I've always thought have been kind of an underrated archer civ, but I think after this patch, honestly, in feudal age, they might be the best archer civ in the game, and they're going to be good overall. So, all right, and I think those are the main bonuses that I want to talk about. Oh, let me hit you up with these Slavs. So one of the things with Slavs is that we're getting the cheaper militia, so no more supplies, right? But arson is being moved to the feudal age for all civs, and Slavs are getting it for free. You're gonna have some men-at-arms that are gonna be tearing it up. And I think if you play something like men-at-arms skirmisher, don't be surprised. That's what I want to tell you. Don't be surprised if we see a lot of men-at-arms skirmisher forwards with Slavs. I think that could be very, very dangerous. This is a civ that's really been kind of like a scout opening civ primarily, but trust me, you're about to see it. Men-at-arms versus skirmishers. I think I've always thought that that's actually kind of like an underrated composition anyways. I think this patch just made that a lot better. I think it's definitely like a new meta unit combo, and it's going to be very strong. It might be one of the go-to unit compositions in early game. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to talk about some of the new civs, 2 of them. I want to talk about the Jurchens and the Khitans. And you might remember, if you've watched my channel for a bit, that I have done a Khitan civilization concept video. Definitely check that out. I think there's some things about this civ that are similar in that regard. But anyways, we'll get there. Let me talk about the Jurchens first. So let's go over some of this. So what we got here is a cavalry gunpowder civilization. Now, you notice some of these bonuses. We're going to go to the bonuses first, and then we're going to work the tech tree. You're going to have your hunt and livestock not decay. That's actually, even though the decay rate's kind of slow, that's going to be pretty good, actually. You're going to get some extra food. Your mounted units and fire lancers attack faster. So this is going to give you already from the jump. You're getting a nice food bonus, and you're going to have scouts that attack faster. So you're going to be looking pretty good for your scout rush there in the feudal age. You have siege engineers available in the castle age, so if you can get that, get your mangonels going on, and it looks like you get upgrades costing less and coming in faster. So if you get like mangonels with, actually you might not even get mangonels with the civ, because it's one of the new East Asian civs, but you're still going to have a range advantage. That's pretty good. And you also receive less friendly fire damage, so that'll be kind of nice if, you know, you're trying to hitting your civs with mangonels, things like that. So that's not bad. Your unique units, looks like you got a cavalry unit and the grenadier. We'll scroll over that. Unique tech fortified bastions. Fortifications regenerate HP. Oh Lord, have mercy. It's gonna be tough to take down these castles, presuming this applies to castles. I think this is gonna be this is gonna have to be negotiated in terms of the regeneration rate, but whew, looking pretty good. Thunderclap bombs, rocket carts, and all these things, they detonate when defeated. Ooh, it's like, remember, well, I don't want to give any spoilers to some movies. Never mind, right? No spoilers here, but basically, you're gonna have to watch yourself. You know, if you're taking out these units here, these rocket carts, these grenadiers, poking at them, you're gonna pay for it if you got melee units. So this is kind of I kind of see this as an anti-melee unit bonus. And then the team bonuses, you got your gunpowder units plus 2 line of sight. That'll be kind of nice. Yeah, that's not bad. I feel like it's not that strong because in late game, which is when you're usually playing gunpowder units, you probably see a lot more of the map anyways. So, all right, let's work with the tech tree. So the archery range, you do get heavy cav, but no thumbing, no Parthian tactics. Looks like you get bloodlines, so kind of a mid-level unit. I think we see a lot more heavy cavalry archers getting played now that don't have all the upgrades. It's also worth noting that heavy cavalry archers, as of this patch, are going to take a little bit longer to train. So getting to that crucial heavy cav archer mass is going to be more difficult. So not a ton of light from the archery range. You do have the grenadier. Looks like it is a ranged blast attack. So this is kind of, I bet it does friendly fire damage, kind of like a mangonel. That's kind of what it sounds like to me, and that's why your units receive less friendly fire damage. Oh, okay, I got you. All right, we see that. Fire lancers. I wonder if Gambeson's affects fire lancers. Keep that in mind. I don't know if fire lancers are going to be in the spearman armor class, but if they are, this will really help you against skirms, and this will really help you anyways against any range unit. So keep that in mind. Okay, but otherwise, you're only getting men-at-arms, so worst swordsman line in the game, hashtag. Looks like at the stable, you do get hussars with bloodlines, and they're going to be able to attack faster too, so that's going to be pretty strong. Same with your step lancers that attack faster. That's gonna be a spicy meatball. That'll be really good. Okay, so it looks like the Jurchen stable, you don't have a ton of power options, but the sort of medium, the light to medium options you do have are gonna punch above their weight because they attack faster. Okay, Wow. That's interesting. All right. At the siege, yeah, you get this rocket cart. Dude, I don't know what's going on. I guess this is a mangonel replacement. Sounds cool. And you're missing the last infantry. Okay. So keep this in mind then, right? With your fire lancers and your spear line, you're gonna miss some infantry armor. So you're actually still gonna be pretty vulnerable to skirmishers and range units. But you get all your armor upgrades there. So okay. Again, cavalry's gonna be pretty good. Pretty stocked up university. You're getting some things at the dock. No shipwright? Question mark. Yeah, no shipwright. So still not really a navy civ, I think. Yeah, I don't really feel this for water maps. Okay. Now, okay, let's do Iron Pagoda. So Jurchen, unique heavy cav, durable armor that can completely block melee attacks. Okay, whatever, man. That can't mean what it says it means. So we're just gonna have to move on from that. What's the stats? 115 base. Ooh, got a lot of HP, a lot of attack. 3 pierce armor at a cost of only 55 gold. Like, this is like the Roman centurion, but cheaper. I don't know. That's rough. You can't use archers against these guys. Never. Well, but at least it only stays 3 pierce armor, so that's something. This is an amazing unit, and I guess was gonna make up for the fact that you don't have knights. So, but yeah, I don't know about that 3 pierce armor in Castle Age. It only takes a few of these bad boys, and your archers ain't gonna do. Your archers are gonna be ass. So it's gonna take monks, spearmen, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty tricky. Archery range, no redemption. That's probably the big tech you're missing here. What else we got? You get decent number of eco upgrades. Okay, so overall, when it comes to the Jurchens, I mean, this looks like a pretty strong civ in some ways, but I think you're definitely going to be leaning on cavalry. Might lean on these fire lancers that attack faster, but yeah. Other than your Iron Pagoda unit and maybe some of these kind of the Grenadiers, I don't see this as like a big damage civilization though. That's the thing. You don't get a ton of good range units either, so I think you're gonna have to play this civ a little bit different. Like, notice no knights at all, right? You don't get the knight line. I don't know why they mark it out if you just don't get the unit at all. So kind of strange to me, but yeah, that's peculiar. Okay. All right, let's move on. We don't want to judge things too harshly. Look at the Khitans. Okay. Pastures replace farms. Okay. Figure out what a pasture is here in a sec. Shepherds and herders generate 10% additional food. Okay, so you're gonna get a food bonus. Right. Melee attack upgrade effects are doubled. Ooh. So if you invest in like +1 attack and feudal age, you're gonna have +2. Ooh, that could be good actually. That could be really good. Because that's gonna help your infantry, that's gonna help your cavalry. Okay. Skirmishers, spearmen, and scout cavalry line train faster. So basically, this is your trash army. This sounds like it's gonna be a good trash civ just from the jump. They train and upgrade faster. So this is actually a really strong bonus because you're gonna get that light cavalry upgrade. Boom, nice power spike. If you need to make skirmishers, get that elite skirmisher. Boom, nice power spike. You can see here from the screen though, you don't get halberdier, so that's going to be a weakness of the civ. But still, you're going to be, that's interesting. And you have your heavy cavalry archer upgrade available in Castle Age. It costs them 50% less. So it's an investment. Even at minus 50%, it's going to be, for the Castle Age, that's an investment. In Imperial Age, what would it be, like 450 food, 220 some gold? In Imperial Age, not as much of an investment. Castle Age, investment. So keep that in mind. We'll see what the civ... There's no way this civ gets bloodlines. I'm just going to look. Yeah, okay, no bloodlines. So that's going to keep it balanced. You're going to have, what, 60 HP heavy cav archers in Castle Age. That's pretty decent. Not quite as much HP as a cav archer with bloodlines, but you're going to have the extra damage. What else will you have? A little bit of extra attack bonus versus spearmen could be nice. And you get Parthian tactics, and you get thumb rings, so it's not a... I mean, I'm gonna hazard to guess. We're just gonna scroll over because I want to see what upgrades you have actually. Okay, no blast furnace, so that's gonna balance out the melee attack upgrades in the late game. And then you get all your armor. Okay, so I actually really like this. I've wanted to see a cav archer, a heavy cav archer that gets every tech except for bloodlines. Now, I was really hoping at one point that the Byzantines would be a candidate for that. That is a whole nother can of worms. Let me know if you want to hear a whole video about what I think about Byzantine cavalry archers. You let me know in the comment section and I will do it, okay? But that's neither here nor there. I like that we're going to see a unit that has this combination of technologies because we just really haven't seen it in the game. So that'll be cool. You'll have that 6 pierce armor but no bloodlines. So I think that'll be a really interesting thing that'll play out. So if we look at the archery range here, fully upgraded skirmishers are going to be nice. The cav archers are going to be working for you. No arbalist. You know, I'd love to see arbalist for. I actually would like arbalist for this civilization, I think, but that's okay. You don't want to play to cav archers. I get it. Champion and Fire Lancer line are all the way upgraded through, and you get Gambesons, so you're gonna have some pretty solid infantry here. And remember, you're gonna be doing double attack upgrades. So when you get that Fire Lancer here in Castle Age, if you get the Blast Furnace, whoo, doggy, you're doing that +4 damage. That's pretty solid. Okay, that's pretty solid. Let's look. Cavalry, you get Hussars, no bloodlines, but remember, you have the melee attack upgrades. Oh, we haven't talked about unique units. We'll work through those. The unique text, though. Infantry and skirmishers reflect 25% melee damage. So if you're getting attacked by a melee unit, you're going to do a little bit extra damage. I kind of like that, actually. That's not bad. Ordo Cavalry. Cavalry regenerates HP in combat. Oh, this is going to help your cavalry. Oh, that's going to really help out your cavalry archers, because if you're on the back line, firing and not taking damage, like if you're playing like heavy cavalry archer hussar, you're gonna be getting some of that HP back. Ooh, okay. I see you out there. I see what you're doing. Hussar can regenerate HP in combat. That could be decent. Heavy camels. Okay. Step lancers. Dude, step lancers with 9+4 attack in the Castle Age. Dude, both of the step lancers on these 2 new civs are gonna be, oh, doggy. They're gonna be getting you. I think camel riders with 6+4 attacking Castle Age is actually pretty solid, even though you miss bloodlines. You know, that's really gonna help you like clear villagers, stuff like that. So I don't know, that's interesting. Siege, you're actually missing a ton of siege options. Siege ram still you got though, so that is what it is. Your navy, ugh. You don't even get like the unique navy units. they just ditched it completely. Okay, you did get fast fire ship. I guess that's nice, but university. I get some of the big stuff. Siege engineers is good. No architecture though. No towers. You don't want to play towers really with this civ. Okay, the Lao Dao. Let's see. Pretty good cost. A unique infantry with a powerful attack that wounds enemies, dealing damage over time. I see what this is. I think I've seen people propose units that like do kind of like, I think usually under the guise of like you poison the enemy and they get weaker after you hit them. Depending on how this stacks, it could be potentially overpowered, but I think overall I kind of like the idea of it. Like I kind of like the idea that you're fatiguing the enemies, and this is a pretty unusual bonus, so I give this a lot of credit actually, for being unique, potentially strong, but they're gonna have to figure out how to balance it, I think. So okay, the Lao Dao, and then the mounted trebuchet. Did I miss this? I did. This is the camel this is the camel trebuchet basically. Looks like it's got 10 range, so I don't know about this. It looks like it's not going to outrange that much. It's good versus tight groups of units, so that tells me it's going to do some kind of blast area. I mean, you're still going to need regular trebuchets to take down castles, because you're not going to have the range. 10 You get siege engineers. 10+1 is not going to outrange a castle unless it's like a Teuton or a Celt castle or something. So Civs without bracer, and not a Teuton castle if they get crenellations, but like Celts maybe, Slav castles if you get siege engineers. Interesting. Oh, and its projectiles leave lingering fire on the ground. Okay, I wonder if that will like kill trees or something like that, or I don't know what that'll do. Okay, that's a brand new game mechanic. No telling. I don't have access to the patch yet, so I don't know anything. Redemption block printing. Yee. Okay, you do get heresy. That could be nice. You're missing the big techs. Herbal medicine's pretty good tech too. Herbal medicine. I don't know. What's that shampoo? Herbal essences. Anyways, whatever. Okay. Pretty good text. Let's look and see what this pasture is. Pastures. Khitan unique renewables. Food source looks like it replaces the farm. Provides a limited amount of food before it must be rebuilt. 2 villagers may work it. Oh, interesting. So it's more expensive than a farm, but since you can put 2 villagers on it, you don't have to seed them quite as much. Boy, that's going to take some getting used to. Actually. Because you want to put 2 villagers on this. Okay. So what is provides animals? Oh, okay. So that's how you get extra food. You get more animals. So I will say the one thing. Here's my one question about this. Can you, if it's making animals, can archers snipe the animals? You understand what I'm saying? Like, can I kill the animals and destroy the food on the farm? That would be pretty crazy, actually. Especially depending on how fast you can kill them. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this mechanic works. So, alright, so that's the Khitans. Overall, I think I like this Civ. Yeah, the pasture thing is going to be super awkward. I like seeing the Cav Archer play. Cav Archers are already getting kind of nerfed, so I don't think that'll be overpowered. Good infantry. I like the way this... I like the way that you have these bonuses that you got to invest. So what I like about the way the cavalry works for the Civ is that to get those attack upgrades, the effects of them, it's something you got to invest in. And if you don't invest in it, then you just have, light cavalry and camels without bloodlines. But if you invest in it, now all of a sudden you're doing that more damage. You're a little bit more of a glass cannon. And then in the late game, if you can get that cavalry regeneration, then it's like, okay, you compete in the early game, you miss blast furnace, so it's like, oh, I only have normal hussars, normal camels. Well, hold on a minute, right? Now all of a sudden, right, you can be regenerating some HP, and now in the late game, it's making up for missing bloodlines. So I actually kind of like this, right? You can kind of, we'll have to see how it looks in terms of the HP, but you're going to be a glass cannon early, and maybe not as much of a glass cannon late, and so you kind of balance it out. So that's really creative from the developers here. I think the Khitans, you might remember from my version of this civilization, I also took away bloodlines. That's something definitely have in common here. I like this, man. I think this is gonna be interesting Civ. This doesn't feel, neither the Jurchens nor the Jurchens are a little gimmicky. I think that the Khitans are not nearly as gimmicky as the Jurchens feel. I think the Khitans, other than the pasture thing, I think this is a Civ that I can probably walk into the game, and other than getting used to that mechanic, I can just go in and play. Okay. Now, here's where we come to the part of the video where I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to talk about the Shu, the Wei, or the Wu. Here's what we've learned, right? The DLC is called the Three Kingdoms DLC, and this is, from what I understand at least, a reference to a work of an old Chinese work called the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and these are essentially polities that existed in during ancient China, in antiquity, based on, sometime in, like, I guess 150 to 200 AD. Now, the developers have added these are supposed to be playable on ranked, and the developers had a really interesting they had a really interesting reason for why they wanted to put civs from antiquity in ranked. Basically saying these three kingdoms were more advanced than others at the time. So it's kind of like they would fit into medieval gameplay. That's actually something that I think is a really clever justification. But here's the thing. There's some aspects about these civs, right? White Feather Guard, War Chariots. I don't even know what any of that means. They have weird heavy cavalry. They have hero units as a unique unit, right? All of them do. If we go to that, boom, hero unit. As you can see, you also have, boom, a hero unit, right? And this is my point in that the reason I really am not going to talk about them right now is that I'm actually not sure these guys make it to the ranked ladder. It is very difficult for me to believe that in the ranked ladder, which the ranked ladder is for competitive play. And competitive play is going to mean, most of the tournaments that we have in Age of Empires 2, everybody, we all love the pro tournaments, but most of the tournaments we have here are community tournaments. You see advertisements on all the AoE sites about community tournaments, I think community tournaments are a big part of the scene. It's really hard for me to believe that we're going to have tournaments, amateur, intermediate, or pro level, whatever the level is. I just can't believe that we would have in competitive play hero units. I'm sorry. I don't know what the mechanics are going to be on them exactly. If it's a hero unit, can you have, and because these guys have proper names, I think, can you have more than one at the same time? If you lose it, is it gone forever? I have no idea whatsoever. But what I am saying is that I think it's so unusual and I dare say gimmicky. And I'm trying to have an open mind about this, right? Because I think a lot of things seem like gimmicks, and then we get used to it, and we move on. But look, take a look at this civ. You have military production buildings. You build your barracks, boom, you get 65 food. You know what I mean? Okay. Infantry regenerates. Well, wait a minute. What about the Berserker? That's the unit's whole unique bonus. I haven't looked at this civ until now. Houses building faster? Are you kidding? That's something that seems so small, incredibly powerful. And it's powerful not just because you can get them up faster and it's harder to take down, but presumably that means you're going to be able to repair them faster too, which is going to make it really difficult to tear through them things. Fire archers, long range attack unit. That's actually kind of cool. And it's good against buildings, which is kind of cool too, actually. Kind of a low damage thing. I don't, for whatever reason, I don't see these civilizations as I just kind of looking through them. Tiger Cavalry sounds badass. I don't know what it means. Looks like it's a, unique unit of some sort. Yep, Tiger Cavalry. Gains HP and attack when defeating enemy military. Okay. 5 pierce armor? Hold up. See, can you hear what I'm talking about here? 5 pierce armor? You gotta be missing some archer armor upgrades. Yeah, okay. Whew. But still, right? You have 4 pierce armor. 4 plus 2 pierce armor in the Castle Age. You get bloodlines with this civ. You get bloodlines. 135 HP. 6 pierce armor. Your crossbowmen are going to be doing 1 damage. Talk to me. With 11 doing 11 damage already? Talk to me, somebody. Come on, man. One of these guys could probably take out a whole flock of archers. I don't know if archers travel in flocks, but you know, we're gonna rock with that for a sec. Call it a hunch, man. Just call it a hunch. I just have this feeling that between now and whenever this DLC comes out, I don't see these guys hitting the ranked ladder. I don't see the white feather guard hitting the ranked ladder for some reason. A war chariot. Whatever happened to the Ratha? And you're getting it in Castlage. What is... I don't even know what any of this means. So this is my point. And look, I'm not knocking these Three Kingdom civilizations. Maybe there comes a day, but I'm just call it a hunch. I also love just looking at this, the old Magyar bonus stepping up in here. I feel like I was the only guy on Earth that loved that bonus. And I really did. I thought this was a great bonus. Looks like this is going to be a civ that gets good archers. So for instance, I would actually kind of enjoy playing this civ based on that because I love that old bonus. But look, call it a hunch. I just for whatever reason, I just think that we're not going to see these guys in ranked early. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get into them right now. And like I said, I'm not trying to criticize these civs. You know, they simply have interesting designs. They probably just need to have their bonuses and units tweaked a little bit. Adding 5 civs to the game is such an undertaking at one time. I certainly can see them in the same way that, right, you take a look at Romans, kind of reverse Romans. Initially, they said Romans, no, I ain't going on the ranked ladder. And everybody was like, dude, come on. And they were like, hey, you know what? Romans, ranked ladder, we got you. I kind of see this going in reverse, right? They're going to say, hey, all right, we want to play them ranked. Let's let this play out just a bit and then add them into ranked later. That's how I see this going. But if they do make it into rank, I'll talk about them. You know, even just looking at a civ like this, I think there's actually some things that I like about it. But I'm just not going to get all that deep into it because I don't know. I just don't think they're going to make it in. So, at least not right now. So, that being said, hey, that's the civs. What do you think, right? What civ of these are you the most excited about? And hey, I'd love to hear some different opinions, right? Kind of just taking a scan at AoE2 Reddit. You know what? There's a lot of cats out there that seem really disappointed that we have these civilizations from the Three Kingdoms going to ranked. More for historical reasons than anything. You know, I'm less hopped up on the historical part of it. Just because I kind of buy the developers' justifications. But for me, it's more gameplay. And that's where I kind of see things being a little odd. So, anyways, let me know how you like this. What do you think's coming? Are you out there? Are you excited to have the Three Kingdoms hitting the Age of Empires? And that being said, I want to try to do some more videos here in the next next time I see you. So, with that being said, y'all, I'm Jimmy James 59, and I'll see you out in the ladder. Peace.